Did you know that nearly 70% of people in their 30s feel like they're running out of time to achieve their dreams? And for a long time, I was one of them. I thought I was too old to start over, too far behind to catch up, and stuck with the life that I had built. But the truth is, I was wasting my 30s overthinking. It almost cost me everything. Studies show that most people in their 30s feel pressure to have everything all figured out. Psychologists call it the age 30 transition, a time when people often question their life choices and feel like they're falling behind. It's also a time when overthinking peaks the most, with many of us ruminating on our failures or missed opportunities. But here's the thing, your 30s are actually one of the most powerful decades of your life. Studies also show that people in their 30s are at their peak of creativity, emotional intelligence, and problem solving. So why do so many of us feel stuck? When I was 30, I felt like this invisible clock was ticking. I thought if I don't have it all figured out, it was too late, and that mindset held me back. I was comparing myself to others. Why are they here? Why aren't I here? Why are they doing this? And why am I not doing that? I overthought every decision. I would sit around scrolling on social media feeling like everyone was just ahead of me. I thought maybe I just was meant to settle. Maybe my big moments are behind me. Maybe it was just too late. But what I didn't realize is the 30s were just getting started. I was literally just getting started. And for a long time, I would let my mind play these tricks on me, thinking, well, you can't do this. You're already 30. If you want to start something, you should have been doing this at 18, or you should have been doing this at 25, or you should have been doing this, years ago. If you weren't like, for instance, I wanted to be a DJ. I let my mind think me out of being a DJ because I started at 30. So I would sit up and think, can I become a DJ at 30? Can DJs be good at 30? But then I would be watching like little kids, scratching at like 9 or 10. So I'd watch them and I'd feel like, well, I wasn't born with turntables in my, in my lap. So maybe I'm not meant to be a DJ. Maybe that's not for me. I didn't go to a class where I learned how to DJ, as a kid. Then I would look at all these little kids DJ and they were so good. So I feel like, well, I can't do it. I'm already 30. Or then I'd watch, or I'd want to be a dancer, or I'd want to do different things. And I'd say, well, I wasn't dancing as a kid, or I wasn't performing here, and I wasn't singing here. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing this. I would compare myself to people so much. And I would think, well, how can you get started at 30? You should have been doing this at 15 because, that's what makes you have that great story. It's like, I've been writing music, or I've been DJing since I was a little kid. My mom bought me these turntables when I was 8. And then, I started doing it. And I won my first talent show when I was 10 years old, and I've just been DJing ever since. Now I'm this super producer. And I would always look at myself like, you don't have that story, Armand. You're just getting into something. So then the imposter syndrome would kick in. Then I just feel like, well, you're too old. By the time you're 30, you done started dating. You've moved out of your house. You've got bills. Life has really came fast. You know what I mean? You've made some bad decisions. And so you're trying to figure out, what do I do next? Because once you hit that 30, people don't care about you anymore. Not like they used to, right? But then you're like, damn, I want to try something else. I don't really fully know who I am yet. But I just think that we tell ourselves at 30 that we're supposed to know who we are. And to be honest with you, you don't know, because from 18 to 20 is a switch. To 21 is a switch. But then from that 21 to 25 is a switch. But then that 25 to 30 is a complete switch. Because then it's like, okay, but then that 30 to 35 is something whole different. It's a whole different mindset. But that 30 right there, you're still kind of going through the switch and still trying to figure it out. And so for a long time, I was thinking, well, maybe I want to be an artist. It's like, well, you can't be an artist in your 30s. You can't try to have a music career at 30 or 31, 32. But then that's what I noticed. I would be 30, then I would be 31, then I'd be 32, then I'd be 33, then I'd be 34. And so what I started to realize is the older I got, the more I realized I wish I was just 1 year younger, or 2 years younger, or 3 years younger. When I hit 35, I was like, damn, if I knew what I know now, at 30, I would be unstoppable, because now I'm watching 30-year-olds like, boy, you got all this time. You got time. You got a lot that you can do. You can really start over at 30 if you wanted to. But see, when I was 30, I'm looking at 25-year-olds and I'm listening to the chatter of people saying, you're old, you're old, you're old, you're old, you're old. And then don't add gay to it, because then in gay years, people think that, 30 is like, get ready for the tombstone and the casket. He's out of here, but that's not the reality. And so for me, I started to realize, wait, hold on. I need to appreciate the age that I am now, because every year I go older, I find somebody else that's younger than me that hits that age. And I'm thinking, wow, they're lucky. What I would do now, or what I would do differently if I was their age, again. See, I'm watching these guys turn 30 and 31. I'm thinking, you're so young. You have so much time. But when I was 30 and 31, I was feeling like it was over. I was feeling like I didn't have time. I couldn't start anything. I couldn't do anything. I felt like if I wasn't already building or had something built, then it was just too late. And I was stuck. I felt like, at this point, you have to do whatever business that you've already started, whatever job you have, that is who you are. And it took me a long time to realize, that's not true. That's not true. I don't have to stay in these relationships. I don't have to stay in these friendships. I don't have to stay on this job. And once I hit 35, I'm gonna be honest with you, it clicked again, because I was like, all right, you're on the other side of 30. So now you're hitting that 40. You're gonna have to shake some things up, because no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. So you're gonna have to switch your mindset. So I started doing things the way I wanted to do them. I started thinking 35 is the new 30. I feel good. I look good. I'm having a blast. Now I'm just at a place where I'm more established and I can do more for myself, but I take risks. I go out of town. I try new careers. I do whatever it is that I want to do, because why? I won't be 35 forever. Be 36, 37, then I'll be 40, and I'll be like, well, where did my 30s go? Did I waste it in a relationship? Did I waste it overthinking that I was too old? Then at some point you will be too old, because when I'm 40, I'll probably be thinking, oh, if I could just be 30 all over again. Oh, if I could just be 32. Or if I could be 33, or if I could be 35, if I could just be 36 one more time, what I do different. And so what I realize now, with the age that I have now and the life and the breath that I have in my body now, I make the best of it, because every year that you get older, you are gonna wish you were that much younger or closer to the age you are today. And so I had to learn, stop overthinking it. You're not too old. You're right where you need to be. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you get in your mind, you get in your head, and you start to feel like, damn, I'm watching all these young kids or these young people, they have their opportunities, and they just I've been chasing and really trying to work on my craft and hone in and become something and, do something great in the world. And it's like you just watch people that weren't even born yet when you were coming up. They come up and it just seems like, boom, they just strike it rich and strike it gold, and it just works. And the truth is, they did, but that's not your story. Life isn't fair. It isn't fair that maybe some people younger than you do the same thing as you and it worked for them. But you have to look at what you bring to the table. You have to look at your story. And one thing that I realized is, there's a lot of things that I wanted at a younger age that I didn't get, that I have now, or I've achieved now, or I will achieve later. But one thing I can say is that sometimes, probably all the time, if I'm being honest, the things that I felt like I wanted when I was younger and I didn't get, and I've achieved them now, I feel like they're right on time. I feel like this is when I'm supposed to have it. I feel like I'm glad that I got it now. I don't love it any less than when I thought I was when I wanted it when I was 20. Or 25, or even 30. A lot of times we think that, if I could just, get this record deal by 21, or maybe if I can get my business off the ground by 30, maybe if I can hit my first million by 30, 35, I'll be so happy. Maybe if I get that acting gig right now, I'll be so happy. Well, honestly, you might not be ready for that acting gig right now. Think about how many child actors had their time. They're crazy now. Think about how many people started their businesses and they just weren't ready, and they didn't know how to manage their finances, and they lost it all, and they had to start over, or they were here at one point, but they were gone. They had no longevity. And then think about you, slow and steady, and you slowly walked into your blessings and walked into your opportunities. It's about the long game. And for me, I realized that, maybe it didn't happen for me at 20 or 21 or 25 or even 30. But when it happens for me, that's when it's supposed to happen. And it's gonna feel like the most magical thing that has ever happened. See, I think a lot of times we think, well, if it happens in our 40s or our 50s, we're not gonna love it. We're not gonna appreciate it. Well, the older that I've gotten and the older that I get, I realize the things that I've wanted, even if they happen later on in life, I love them the same. I'm just as excited about the accomplishments as I thought I would be if I had achieved them earlier on in life. I still get joy out of achieving certain things. I still get joy out of being able to buy cars and go shopping and travel. I get joy. Like, a lot of times I feel like, I wanted to live my life and have everything in my 20s, because those are my young years. I could have fun. But at the same time, I think back to my 20s, I'm thinking I was a complete idiot. Sometimes not having the things that you want earlier on in life saves you from a lifelong term of damage. See, I know a lot of people that got a lot of things early on in life and they're dead now, or they're bankrupt, or they're on drugs, you know? And some of us, if we would have gotten it earlier on, we would have lost it within 1 or 2 years. And I probably would have been one of them. So I'm happy that I'm getting my blessings later on in life because I'm a lot more strategic with it. I understand what life is about now. I understand what I'm looking for, what I want, what I need, and I'm understanding people more. You know, anybody that's been following me, they know I was Sir Crash Out. Could you imagine me having opportunities, wealth, fame, whatever that is, but I didn't know how to manage my emotions? So I had to look back and say, hey, Armand, there's a lot of lessons that you needed to learn before you really got what it is that God and the universe had in store for you. And so that also helped me understand, well, hold on, appreciate what you have, appreciate where you are now. And then two, in your mid-30s, you are right where you need to be. You cannot compare yourself to anybody else's story, to anybody else's life, because when the gates and the codes unlock for you, you're going to be happy and you're going to feel like, you know what? I'm so happy that this happened right now. You're not going to say, oh, I wish this would have happened 10 years ago. Child, you're going to, if somebody hit me with $1 million right now, you think I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I don't want this, or I'm not happy. This don't feel right. This would have felt better if I would have got this at 20, at 30. Absolutely not. I'm gonna grab that $1 million check, throw everything in my house away, not call nobody, and I'm gone for a minute till I figure out my life, and I'm gonna have a blast. You hear me? I'm gonna have a blast. So I'm just saying, for my people that's in their 30s right now, and you're at the top of your 30s, understand, this is just the beginning. I know we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves that, ooh, I need to have this done, I need to have that done. Or then you looking at people that's 26, 27, and you're thinking that they're so young, but you remember when you was 26, 27, right? You felt like the old head. See, the 18, 19-year-olds made you feel old. So you feel like, damn, I'm 27, I'm 20. But when you're 30, you think, damn, if I can go back to being 27, baby, I could get it all. The things I would do if I was 27 again. Those are the thoughts you think when you're 30. But see, when you were 18, 19, 20, you were busy calling 27-year-olds old. And you probably realize now, like, damn, them are some kids, right? So I want you guys to understand, from somebody that's over 30, 35, you guys are those babies still at 30. You still got to have your responsibilities together, because I do feel like there are certain things that at 30 that should just be non-negotiables, because you're an adult, but you're like a young adult still to me. I feel like, you know, because I feel like there's still room for change and effort and growth, because you're still changing and developing into your power. But by 30, I do think that you should have an idea of kind of what you want to do to try to lock in and start, you know, rolling the gears on that. But if it's not clicking all the way, it's not game over. I think the most important part is to not overthink your early 30s. A lot of us overthink our early 30s, and we overthink it till we're 35, and then we realize, oh my God, if I could just go back to 30 and appreciate the time that I had then, I would do things so much differently. I'd have took that risk. I'd have moved out of state. I'd have bought that new car. I'd have moved out the country. I would have tried that new career. I'd have got out of that relationship. I would have lived my life with meaning and purpose, but yet I was stuck with this mindset that, oh, you're 30, so you have to have this, you have to have that figured out. I don't have it all the way figured out. And that's okay. It's okay if I want to try different things. It's okay if I want to experiment with creativity and different passions. That's okay. And I think that that's one thing that I wish I would have learned or done differently in my earlier 30s. I wish I wouldn't have overthought it so much. I wish I would have chased dreams that I felt like I couldn't do, because I realized that I really could have. If I really wanted to do music, I probably could have. I should have probably really started and took it serious at 30. I probably should have took that DJ class a little bit more serious at 30. Who knows where I would be now? I was just paralyzed by overthinking. I was just waiting for some perfect moment to start realizing that, I don't know, everything was going to fall in place. But one day I just stopped caring about it. And I reminded myself that my 30s weren't over. It wasn't the end. And what was I begging for? What was I tripping off of? And looking back now, honestly, I got in my own. Your 30s are the perfect time to start over. You're not at the end. They're the perfect time to reinvent yourself. You know yourself better. You've learned from your 20s, and you have the energy and drive to make things happen. Stop overthinking. Overthinking is what keeps you stuck. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take the first step. The more you compare yourself to others, the more time you will waste focusing on your own journey. Your timeline is yours, and it's not supposed to look like anybody else's. The biggest mistake you can make in your 30s is doubting yourself early. You don't need to doubt yourself, okay? Do not doubt yourself. I'm telling you, if you're in your 30s and you feel like you've wasted time, let me tell you this, it's not too late. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, but you have to start now. What's one thing that you've been overthinking? One thing that you've been putting off because you thought it was too late? I want you to take that one small step today, right now, and move toward it, because the truth is your 30s are full of opportunity. You just have to claim them. So let me know what you got going on in the comments below. And until next time, keep that same energy and we'll see you soon. Peace out.